Iceland looks cold, empty, and far away. That's what a lot of people expect. But once you actually see it, you realize Iceland doesn't feel like one place at all. It feels like several different worlds pushed together. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Iceland isn't just about snow and ice. It's waterfalls, black sand beaches, volcanic landscapes, glaciers, and places that barely feel real. And for a country that looks quiet from the outside, it can be one of the most dramatic places you'll ever see. The scale of it surprises people, because it's not an enormous country, but what it fits inside that space is hard to believe. You can drive for an hour and feel like you've crossed into a completely different climate, a different season, almost a different planet. That's not an exaggeration. That's just Iceland. If you enjoy discovering places beyond the usual tourist version, make sure you're subscribed. We explore destinations a little differently here. Reykjavik. Start with Reykjavik, the capital. Small compared to most major cities, but that's part of what surprises people. It feels colorful, relaxed, easy to move through. Bright rooftops, street art, cafes, and views of the ocean all around. It doesn't feel intense. It feels calm. And that's the first thing Iceland does differently. Even the capital feels connected to nature. You're in a city, but it never really feels far from open space. Walk 15 minutes in almost any direction and you're looking at mountains, water, or open sky. There's no traffic chaos pulling you back in. No overwhelming noise. Just a small city that seems to know exactly what it is. And there's a certain ease here that carries through everything. The food is unpretentious. The streets are easy to navigate. Even the pace of people moving through the city feels different, unhurried. Like no one's rushing to get somewhere because the destination isn't the point. The place itself is the point. And Reykjavik gets that right from the start. But Reykjavik is only the beginning. The golden circle. Then you leave the city, and Iceland starts changing fast. The golden circle is where many people get their first real sense of the country. Thingvellir National Park, a place where tectonic plates are slowly pulling apart. You can actually walk between them. Stand in the gap. Feel the ground dropping away on both sides. It's one of those places that should feel like a geography lesson, but instead just feels enormous. Geysers erupting out of the earth. Water forced up through pressure so intense it shoots into the sky on a timer. You stand and watch it build, and build, and build, and then it goes. Every few minutes. Reliable, uncontrollable, and Gullfoss, one of Iceland's most powerful waterfalls. 2 tiers of water crashing down through a canyon carved by forces far older than anything nearby. The sound of it carries before you even see it. This is where Iceland stops feeling calm and starts feeling raw. You're not just looking at scenery, you're seeing the ground itself in motion. The earth here is still working, still shifting, still deciding what shape it wants to be, and you're standing on top of all of it. But even that isn't the side of Iceland most people remember most. South Coast. Head along the south coast, and everything becomes more dramatic. This is where Iceland really starts to look unreal. Waterfalls like Seljalandsfoss and Skogafoss dropping with incredible force. Seljalandsfoss lets you walk behind it, behind the water, into a narrow path cut into the rock, with the whole waterfall dropping in front of you like a curtain. It's completely soaking, and completely worth it. Skogafoss is different, wider, more powerful. Standing at the base of it, the spray hits your face from 20 meters away. The rainbow it creates on clear days has nothing subtle about it. It's the kind of thing that makes people stop talking. Black sand beaches at Reykjavik, basalt columns, sea stacks rising out of the water. The waves here are serious. The Atlantic doesn't hold back, and the black sand stretches in both directions with almost no one on it. It doesn't feel like a beach the way most beaches do. It feels like a border, like the edge of something, and all of it feels wild, not polished, not controlled, just powerful. This is the side of Iceland that surprises people most, because it doesn't feel soft or quiet. It feels intense, like nature is doing exactly what it wants, and you're just there to watch. Quick question: if you could choose one side of Iceland, Would you go for the waterfalls, the black sand beaches, or the glaciers? Let me know in the comments. And then Iceland changes again. Glaciers and ice caves. Further east, you reach the glaciers. And this is where Iceland feels even less like Earth. Huge ice fields stretching across the landscape. Some of the largest glaciers in Europe. Ice that has been compressing and shifting for thousands of years. Blue ice caves that form underneath, carved out by meltwater moving through the glacier from the inside. The blue you see in those caves doesn't look like ordinary ice. It's deep, almost electric. The kind of color that doesn't seem like it belongs to a natural thing. Chunks of ice washed up along black sand like glass. Places like Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon feel almost impossible. Icebergs floating silently through the water, slowly turning, slowly breaking apart, moving toward the sea in no particular hurry. Everything slower, colder, more still. After the crashing waterfalls and rough coastline, this side of Iceland feels almost quiet, like the landscape took a breath. But it's just as dramatic, just on a different scale, and a different time scale too. What you're looking at in those ice caves took centuries to build. It'll take more centuries to disappear. You're visiting something that was here long before you arrived and will still be changing long after. And then there's another reason people come here. Northern Lights Winter Iceland. In winter, Iceland offers something completely different again. The Northern Lights. Green light moving across a dark sky. A natural event people travel across the world to see. And it's never the same twice. Sometimes it's a faint shimmer at the edge of the horizon. Sometimes it fills the whole sky. Waves of color moving in ways that don't feel like light should be able to move. And when it happens over snow, mountains, or open water, it doesn't feel like a normal travel moment. It feels bigger than that. Like something you were lucky to be in the right place to see. But even when the lights don't appear, winter in Iceland still has its own atmosphere. Long darkness, quiet roads, a landscape that feels even more isolated. The days are short. Some of them barely feel like days at all. Just a few hours of pale light, low on the horizon, and then dark again. It creates a mood that's hard to describe without experiencing it. Heavy, still, but not unpleasant, just honest. But Iceland isn't only about what you see. Hot springs everyday Iceland. Part of Iceland's identity is also in how people live with the landscape. Hot springs, geothermal pools, steam rising from the ground in freezing weather. The same volcanic energy that makes Iceland geologically unstable also heats the homes, powers the cities, and keeps the outdoor pools warm year-round. You can sit in geothermally heated water while snow falls around you. That's not a special occasion in Iceland. That's just Tuesday. Places like the Blue Lagoon get the attention, but the real surprise is how normal geothermal life feels here. It's not a novelty. It's infrastructure. It's how things work. And that practicality, living with volcanic energy rather than around it, is woven into everything. Warm water, harsh weather, volcanic energy just under the surface. That contrast is everywhere in Iceland. Cold and heat, ice and fire, stillness and force. And that's what gives the country its personality. Not just what it looks like, but how it functions, how it survives, and what it asks of the people who live inside it. So what actually makes Iceland so different? It's the contrast. A calm capital, exploding geysers, black beaches, frozen lagoons, dark winters and glowing skies. All inside one country that many people think they understand before they arrive. And the thing is, all of these places are connected. You can drive between most of them in a single day. That's what makes Iceland genuinely unusual. It doesn't ask you to choose between landscapes. It just keeps offering more of them. More than you planned for. More than you expected. More than you can fully process while you're still there. But once you actually travel through it, you realize Iceland isn't just cold. It's dramatic. It's strange. And it's far more varied than people expect. A place that keeps surprising you even after you think you've understood it. Even after you think you've seen the most dramatic part. There's always another turn in the road. Another thing the landscape does that you weren't prepared for. That's why Iceland isn't just what you expect. It's more than that. If you enjoy exploring places like this in a different way, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming. And let me know in the comments, what part of Iceland would you want to experience most?